it's me, Kimberly, and welcome to this new video. Today is a bit of a different video because, well, as you might have seen at the title or the thumbnail, this video is about my endometriosis diagnosis, and well, it's sort of taken over my life this year, so it's been a hell of a ride. And I think I'm finally ready to talk about it, or at least, yeah, share some of it with you. And I thought it's also sort of a therapy session for me to talk about all this. But yeah, where to start? I want to first, I want to make clear that this has not only been a journey of this year. I mean, this is something, well, that I've been struggling with for years on years. So yeah, for me to finally get a diagnosis for, well, all the things that I have experiencing, it's a relief, but on the other hand, also a journey to accept. And I did not expect it to be mentally this hard on me, but yeah, it has been. And I just thought, let's make a video about it, because before I had my surgery and I sort of got this diagnosis, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube of people who have been experiencing the same, getting a diagnosis, but also having surgery and leading up to surgery, and well, recovering off a surgery. Yeah, let's just start what happened this year. I had been feeling changes in my body for a couple of months. So it started at the end of 2024 and then the beginning of 2025 that I had experiencing more of my issues that has been there for years, but now seem to be more and more and sort of not going away anymore. So that was mainly a lot of gut issues, like food related. So although I have been gluten-free, dairy free, almost everything free, it didn't seem to help anymore, where before that it did. Then also I had bloating, but normally I would have bloating around my cycle, or just flare-ups, or due to certain foods I was eating, but then it would also go away, and now it just seems constant. And on the side of that, I was experiencing pain while peeing, and not the pain that you would think is an infection or anything. So that was sort of new to me. Also, I experienced more fatigue. I was just overall feeling like very burned out and miserable. Until, well, things really started to change, or at least I felt the change, or was seeing the change, was when we went to our trip to Japan earlier this year. So that was in April. I started, besides the pain with peeing, I had to frequently pee more, so I felt like I had to go to the toilet a lot, and also during the night, where I normally don't have to go to the bathroom during the night, and now I suddenly had, and I really had to because it was hurting. My belly felt so hard and swollen that if I didn't go, that was not an option. So my sleep also really started to well, you call it lack of sleep. And after that trip, I really said, okay, I need to go to the doctor, especially because I also had been experiencing more bleeding after intercourse, and it worried me. I googled, and well, I went to the GP, went in, they saying, okay, it seems not normal, so we did a test for the cancer. We call it Laparoscopic. I will put in because I don't know the word, and mentioned to her that I was having this weird stomach issues with the peeing related, and I don't know, she just sort of waved it off and told me there are a lot of organs, so it could be a lot. And as I have been there for a couple of times already with issues, digestive issues, well, she sort of just, I don't know, she didn't really take it seriously. On the other hand, I left that office feeling happy that we finally were able to do some tests. But on the other hand, I felt like I was not like taken seriously. So I had to wait for the test results for 2 to 3 weeks. However, the week after, it really didn't sit right with me. I felt like something was wrong. I felt like I was seeing something in my belly. And this I also mentioned, by the way, to her in the first appointment, but there she told me like maybe I just had gained weight. Also very crazy. So yeah, the week after that, I really didn't want to call again because I felt like I've just been there. They didn't take me seriously. I don't know. I couldn't really handle it. But on the other side, I felt something was wrong. So I, after pushing from a friend of mine and my boyfriend, I finally called the week after on the Friday, and it was a national holiday. So I don't know. I called. The lady said like, okay, I think you should come in. However, it's another doctor. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I went in, and well, they did take me seriously. However, they did started asking me like, did you Google? Are you scared? What do you think it could be? Like I was making all this up in my head because of the things I read online. And of course, that is something you do. We can all deny it, but when you have something, you Google it. And on the other hand, I said like maybe it's something with like my ovaries, or something feels off. And I see this bump in my belly when I really need to pee. So they went to check on it. Then he called in another extra doctor. So the two of them looking, telling me like, okay, this is not normal. It feels weird. Also, your bowels feel very irritated. I was explaining my issues with peeing, etc. Of course, they wanted me to do a pregnancy test and to test my urine if there was an infection. Although I said like it doesn't feel the same. But fine. Then afterwards I went peeing, like I had to pee in a cup there. So I then had to come back in. They again like felt my belly, and it was like, oh yeah, that's kind of weird. Now you don't really see it or feel it. And I was like, yeah, well, this is what happens all the time. But as you just saw, when my bladder is full, you can really see like this bump in my belly. So they didn't think it was like that urgent, so I just had to get on the waiting list for an ultrasound. And I was very happy that we finally were gonna do something and check it out. But on the other hand, it had to wait another 3 to 4 weeks before I had this appointment. So on the other hand, I was relieved, that on the other hand, I was like feeling a bit sad that I had to then wait weeks again. But okay, fine. We went to the ultrasound a month later, where that appointment should probably have taken 10 minutes. It took about 50 minutes because they wanted to check everything. So they did the full ultrasound for the whole belly. So they also checked my kidneys, my liver, etc., my stomach, and of course this bump. And they checked that the last, of course. So he said to me, okay, I see something that's not supposed to be there, and I have to talk to my supervisor. I was like, okay. And then he just left for like 20 minutes. He came back, he did scans again, made a lot of pictures, and he told me, okay, we see this mass, like a cyst that is around 12 centimeters, and we can't see to what organ it is attached. Neither can we see if it has its own blood flow, yes or no. So they were not able to tell me if this thing was cancerous, yes or no, or at least had the looks of it being cancerous, yes or no. So I sort of laughed at office, of course, and well, with weird feelings. Let's just say that. Then I had to get a referral to a specialist, and they told me I should go see a gynecologist. However, everything now goes back to your GP first before you get the referral to the specialist in the hospital. So I had to wait. So I think 1.5 days. So the ultrasound was on Tuesday. The GP called me on Thursday telling me he is sending out the referral to the gynecologist in the hospital to get an appointment. Then about half an hour later, the hospital called me to get this appointment. They told me that the GP didn't send it with urgent note, so she told me I have a spot in like 35 days from now. And I was like, 35 days? Nobody is able to tell me if I have cancer, yes or no, and this thing is in my belly. Like, I was like spiraling. I mean, I have been sitting with all that for 1.5 days, going all the places in my mind, thinking the worst, of course. And luckily, you know, she was a very sweet lady, so she said, okay, I will put you in the way, let me check and discuss the file with a doctor. So then after a couple minutes on the phone again of waiting, she's told me, you have to come tomorrow. And I was like, a bit taken aback, of course. Like, I was like, tomorrow? She's like, yeah, we're gonna put you in with a specialist tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I was like, okay. Then Friday comes, so the day of the appointment. I wake up, I had 3 missed calls from the hospital. So I was like, what's going on? I called the hospital, then she said they wanted me to see another specialist in another hospital. So I had to go to another hospital that same day to see another specialist who was specialized in cysts. Or I there had the transvaginal ultrasound. They were able to see that it was on my left ovary. It was indeed 12 centimeters or so, and that it was highly caused by endometriosis, and they didn't think it was cancerous, so that was a big relief. I had to get it surgically removed. And because it was the summer, so people are on holiday, and we have shortage on, well, staff here in healthcare. It took, from the moment that I had that appointment, I think 7 weeks or so before I then was able to have my surgery. So I had my surgery on the 1st of August. They removed the cysts, checked for endometriosis, etc. Luckily, they were able to leave in my ovary because they didn't really know if that was possible, yes or no. Also, I was very happy because they were able to do the laparoscopic surgery way instead of making a whole incision. It was gonna be a surprise with what I was waking up with because the size of it, but luckily it's just the 3 small incisions. They did see that my ovary is attached to my uterus, and my uterus is attached to my bowels, and then it's also attached to like my sigmoid, endodarm. So was it the best of news? No. Am I happy that I now know what is going on in my body? Yes. And I'm very happy that they took out the cyst, because they took out more than 800 milliliters of blood, so it was a big thing. And that should be giving me relief in the upcoming future compared to when it was still inside me. So that would have been a roller coaster of this year. And now currently I am 5 weeks post-op, and it was did I expect recovery to be this tough? No. Is it the same for everybody? No, so don't be scared. But I did see a lot of people online like, oh, I was back at work after 2 weeks. My doctor said recovery would take me 4 to 6 weeks, so that's also what I communicated with work, and luckily here I am able to take that time off of work. Did I think I needed? Yes. To give you a rough sketch, I think the first week I was completely bedbound. My boyfriend had to do everything for me. The first couple of days I wasn't able to stand up or sit down by myself, move around by myself. I wasn't really able to walk a lot, like more than 10 steps. So it was very tough. They did told me that because this thing was so big and pushing on my organs, they sort of had to reshuffle inside of me. So she said, you really have to take it slow and let people take care of you. So luckily enough, my boyfriend was able to work from home for 2 weeks and be my caregiver, basically. After I think 8 days or so, 9 days, I was able to sit on the couch a bit for an hour, but then after that I would mostly just go lay back in bed again, because I couldn't really sit up for that long. And then I was able to like sit for 20 minutes at the dinner table to have some dinner and then be back in bed. I think after 2 weeks that I went on a little adventure to the grocery store, and the grocery store is very close, like 50 meters. So I just wanted to get out of the house. Walking was just very hard. It was painful. I walked very slow, and that sort of stayed for a while. So I think after 22 days, I really started to see improvement in walking, being able to just do more, have a little bit more energy, but also have less pain. However, still 5 weeks post-op, walking longer distances is still quite hard. I am able to ride my bike, however, not that far. I am able to do more things. However, the fatigue is just, I can't describe it. I do a couple of things and I'm exhausted again. Also, my sleeping has been very rough. I have a hard time falling asleep and then having a solid night. So I wake up a lot during the night, and I don't know why, but my sleeping has been terrible since surgery, even though I'm very tired. So I go to bed feeling so tired and then not able to sleep. It's torture, but I think overall we're doing good. I still have some shooting pains here and there, or when I fold over, it's really hurting on this side where they took out the cyst. Incisions are healing very good, not that bad at all. Didn't have any issues in that department, and bleeding after surgery was also very minimal. So on that side, I have been blessed. But I'm not gonna lie, it has been hard, and seeing all these different experiences, of course compare, and of course not everybody is the same, and not everybody's surgery is the same. Some people, I don't know, just heal faster or had less issues. I don't know, but for me it's been quite hard. So I don't know, it's been a tough couple of weeks, and still I feel that my belly gets quite irritated if I do a lot of movement. It's tendency to then blow up, and it also feels like I'm still like it feels puffy still, so that didn't really go away, although I don't think that is the gas, but it's just like from bruising or whatever. I don't know. I just want to say that, of course, everybody's experience is different. You should just really listen to your body. And I don't know. I hope people can find some comfort maybe in this video or of my story. I know this is just a short snippet of the story. If you have questions or anything, just leave them out in the comments, and I will try to respond to it. And I also have to just see where it goes from here. I'm still on my recovery road, still not really working out, still not back to work yet. So I don't know. I just wanted to make this video so maybe some people can find some comfort in it, and I can share a bit of my story, helping you and helping me. And I did film some snippets here and there over the last couple of weeks, so I will be uploading some of my my vlogs that it's just mainly me yapping about reading books, knitting, hobbies, watching TV, because what else can you do, right? So yeah, thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video if you did, and take care. Ik ga lekker slapen.